The following podcast has some fruity language. Sorry, my bad. So take care of who's listening around you. Kia ora e te iwi e te whānau. It's me, Anika Moa, and this is my podcast, It's Personal with Anika Moa.
I think in fourth form I kind of decided, I made like a real conscious decision, and it's the worst decision I've ever made in my life, but I was like, I don't want to be that kid anymore. I don't want to be that Māori kid.
The token.
It was just easier for me to get by living in a Pākehā world. And so it completely assimilated me.
So this episode, I am having a mean kōrero with Hori, aka Hohepa Thompson, activist, mahi toi, artist, and all-round incredible human/Māori. Nau mai, hara mai ki Hori.
Kia ora.
Is it Hori or Hori?
Hori.
I like Hori, because you're a Hori.
E rua. Same.
Yeah, kia ora. Now, no hea koe.
All right. He tamaiti nei o kāpiti. Ai ko no Ngāti Tōrangatira. Ngāti Kahununu ki Wairarapa. Me kaitahu hoki. And I reside in the mighty Otaki on the Kapiti coast.
Or Brotaki, as you renamed it.
Yeah, well.
Brotaki.
Back in the day when I first started there. But yeah, it's awesome. I grew up there, left there thinking I'd never come back home, had kids, and then just wanted to go back home. So I'm back there. Loving it.
Amazing.
Just doing mahi, yeah.
And just for people that are listening to this podcast and going, who is this Hori? Because give us a mission statement. I don't know, inform people of what your kaupapa is.
The brand.
Yeah, the brand.
The brand that is Hori. Okay, sweet. Oh, well, it's quite political mahi, my mahi toi, my artwork. And the whole whakaaro around it is to challenge both te ao Pākehā and te ao Māori. And give a lens to... Give people who are in te ao Pākehā more of a lens to te ao Māori. So through the artwork, the constant kōrero is around bridging the gaps between those worlds.
Yeah.
But also challenging both of those worlds in different kind of creative ways that I do. So I get myself into some pretty crazy situations.
Yeah, gnarly situations.
Well, yeah, my biggest critics are actually Māori. So when you're challenging kind of ideologies that are kind of come from a colonial point of view, but have somehow intertwined and tangled into our tikanga.
Some Māori don't agree with it, with what you're doing.
Well, yeah, a lot of Māori kind of whānau even with some of the works, but it's kind of...
Why?
Well, because I look at things from two lenses. So some people don't have the ability to see through both perspectives, where I see it in plain sight at the moment, in everything that I look at. So when I'm saying something that potentially someone who's not seen it from that perspective, and then I challenge on what they've known their whole lives. Like, for instance, if we're at tangi, why do we wear black at tangis? Where did that come from? Why are wahine only wearing skirts to a certain length? Where does that come from?
At the kingitanga. Yeah. And I was like, I couldn't wear a full-length skirt.
Well, it's just a lot of that kōrero, I ask the questions, where does that come from?
Does it come from colonisation?
Well, yeah. In my whakaaro, yes. So, yes.
I agree.
And a lot.
I agree.
So it's whether that we should be doing that and challenging why we even
because some Māori would be like, he's appropriating te ao Pākehā and assimilating it into his world, and that's not tikanga.
Yeah.
You are not doing it properly.
Yeah. But then when you really break it down and kind of tear away at it, you kind of realise that, there's a hint of colonial kind of thing just hidden.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of hidden within tikanga. and even maybe colour. So when you start peeling away
I know.
it starts to ruffle feathers of our own, because they're asking,
Not many people do ask the questions of why can't we put food on the ground? Why can't we juggle apples? All that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because you do this artwork, can you tell me about your childhood growing up in Wellington and living as a Māori, speaking te reo Māori in your whare, but then going out and te ao Pākehā?
Yeah.
How was that for you as a young boy? Like, what were your thoughts around that? Or were you just oblivious to it all?
Well, I was, like in Otaki, was raised in Kohanga Reo, so I come from that generation, and then went to a kura reorua. So my first half of my education before I went to high school was all in te reo. So then when I went to a high school, it was lucky when I think about it now. And then I went to a predominantly Pākehā school. I was kind of singled out as the Māori kid at school. Because
Korero Māori.
Yeah, so in year 9 I was doing like school C reo. And then they wanted me to do bursary the next year.
Yeah.
So I became that kid. And I think in 4th form, I kind of decided, I made like a real conscious decision. And it's the worst decision I've ever made in my life. But I was like, I don't want to be that kid anymore. I don't want to be that Māori kid.
The token.
Yeah, kind of. So I decided to kind of remove myself from that world. Like no kapahaka, which I loved and all of that mahi. No more doing any like real at all, and just removed myself in, because it was easier to kind of get by. Was
that your ambition speaking? Because you had to succeed or work in te ao Pākehā?
I think within the educational system, again, we're looking at the structures. It was, and socially as well, it was just easier for me to get by living in a Pākehā world. And so it completely assimilated me into being this nice little Pākehā boy that won't ruffle anything, will not kind of. I just wanted to be away from it, because I was really like pigeonholed in some classes, and so I just kind of made it easier on me just to kind of walk that path.
Yeah, but I was in the same boat as you. You know, but I took Māori throughout high school. We didn't speak Māori in my household because I've got a Pākehā English mum.
Yeah.
And as soon as I, moved up to Auckland, I was like, okay, I want a music career. And I was going to study Māori. I was going to be bilingual.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that I wanted to walk te ao Māori, but I knew that I wanted to succeed in the world that I'm living in.
Yeah.
So I stood back from it, and now that's my biggest regret is stopping myself from learning it.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is I never got to learn it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Never. But then you come back to yourself, right? And that's what you've done. You've just done full circle, eh? You just because you went over to Oz,
London, everywhere. The States, Canada, all through Europe.
You're running away.
I ran away.
Yeah, you ran away from it.
I ran away big time.
But then you came back and made your home in Otaki, in your whanaunga, tanga, bloody blah, looking out to Kapiti Island, which is your beautiful island.
Yeah.
How scary was that to come back to Aotearoa and get your art, be an artist?
Well,
be a Māori artist.
Yeah. Well, we had kind of started it 2012, and then after meeting Mia, I moved over to Aussie, and then after I had Tallow, our first girl, and Mia had our 2 other older girls, Jet and Sienna, for my mahi to work, I couldn't do it in Aussie.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a real moment where I had to make the decision and to kind of bring our whole whānau over. So that was it was pretty scary. But we came over, I was teaching art and design, and over about a year, I realised that this art thing there's more to it than just me just doing it as a kind of hobby or whatever that is. So I decided I'm not going to teach anymore. I'm just going to concentrate fully on artwork, which is pretty dangerous with a young family, and then one on the way.
Yeah, but you're following your heart, right?
Yeah. I just knew that it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to fucking make it work. So
Yeah.
I just did it, kept trucking, grinded for like another 6, 7, 8 years, and then we finally kind of, all right, sweet, and now we get to do whatever we do. Some awesome mahi now.
You do,
because
you
we
do.
just get to we have that creative freedom that we can be like, nah, no, we can say no to things.
Ooh,
I don't want to do that.
you've got to that level
Having
now.
that power is good.
I'm at that level too.
Yeah, it's cool to say nah.
But I can't say no. I say yes to everything.
I say yes. I'm a bit of a yes man, but
Do you reckon?
I will say no if it doesn't align with our kaupapa. Like we have different people that want to come in and I'm not going to sell fucking lipstick or undies or any shit like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it has to align with our core like mātāpung and our kaupapa, or else it's just a fucking waste of time. So
you've got your own art gallery.
Yeah.
You've got your own cafe.
Yeah.
You've renovated a church that you live in.
Decolonizing the church.
Decolonizing the church, and you call it the church.
To chair.
Oh, te chur.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, it's awesome.
So everything's set up for you. You've recently done matariki festivals that I've played at in Troy Kingi. So you and
Oh, that was
the
awesome.
first one we did. It was just on your deck, and
Yeah.
then the second one I turn up, and you're like, you closed the street down, and you had a stage and like stalls and
Yeah.
food caravans, and I was like, this man is
Mate,
on a mission.
Next year's gonna be next level. I just want to push down the whole
Yeah.
street. It was awesome, but how many great matariki festivals all around the country,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I want to have one at home, where our whānau and our hapu and our hapori can like do something big too, where people want to be like, I want to go to Otaki for
Destination
matariki.
matariki. Because
Yeah.
I saw how hard you and Mia worked that day, and I was just lazing about. I had a job to do on
Yeah,
stage.
you did.
What are your, I suppose, dreams for making? What do I want to say here? You want it bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. Is that your kaupapa?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go bigger, and maybe, yeah. I'm a bit of a... Yeah, I do like doing things big.
Yeah.
And I kind of... I have this thing called fuck it attitude, which is just like, it'll work itself out.
Yeah.
We'll just do it. And it'll all come out in the wash, don't worry about it. Which gets pretty freaky. Like, obviously, Mia's like sometimes, oh no, we'll be okay, we'll just go.
Yeah.
We'll just do it
Yeah.
and commit. And it's working so far. So, but yeah, I suppose my big thing is to, I'm on my ideal journey constantly, and try to show people that you don't have to be like the matatau of Te Reo Māori, and everyone is on a journey.
Yeah.
Whether you sit on that journey, whether you're up here or down here, even the people up here are still going.
Yeah.
So to show that journey is a big thing. So that the whole hikoi deal is massive for me, and to try my hardest, it's to keep to whakamana Te Reo Māori and our culture and our artwork is my biggest thing, because it's kind of like that big regret of turning my back on my culture and deciding I don't want to be a part of that. Now my thing is I want to uplift it as much as possible in the way that I do it, in this kind of jovial porangi way.
But the thing is that you have a jovial porangi way, but you actually your heart is in the right place.
Yeah,
and you work hard. You can see it is, and you work hard. You don't stop, and because you're like, it'll be all right, but it'll be all right. Phone calls, plotting, all that kind of thing.
We've got a mean team now. Obviously Mia's fucking everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. She's like the genius behind you, who does everything.
She holds everything, and lets me gallivant around and do whatever, because she just kind of lets me go now, which is awesome.
She's a quiet assassin.
Yeah, she gets shit done, and I just kind of get to do that. But then we've got, Isaac and Libby and all of these people that are helping me out now because it's got a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So pushing into those spaces.
We're talking about you going on tour and showing your art and tattooing toes, which you're going to tattoo mine.
Yeah.
Focusing on tiriti or waitangi, tuitu te tiriti. So these are your little side passion projects.
Yes.
Can I just take you back to your art?
Yeah.
Because I want to kind of explain it to our audience. Because when I see your art, like you've worked with Tame Iti, I get a thrill because my reasoning is I want Māori to be able to adapt and change and grow. And I want them to not be stuck in their ways and not to be scared to reform in this world because we can't always stick with tradition.
Yes.
So is that what you're trying to do in your art?
I love traditional mahi.
Totally.
I love everything about it and o taonga tika iho and all of the kōrero that goes with it. But yeah, I just sit on a different thing with my mahi. Because there's many different forks in my road. Like there's, like you said, there's the comedic part of it. There's the funny artwork. But it's also like, I just love putting it out. And I think that's the fear that a lot of artists, whether you're Māori Pākehā, is actually about putting it out and taking that step to do it.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, fuck it, I'm putting it out. And also around, there's the fine artsy kind of peeps that do their stuff, and I'm like, I want to see some ugly shit. I wanted to see some shit that's in your face, that's going to actually make you kind of think, I'm not fucking paying out fine artists and that. Beautiful, amazing, I can't do it, can draw and paint, but I want to see shit that's going to make people go, oh, what is this about? You know, I want to know what that's about, whatever it is, if it's, ugly writing or something like that. But I just want to see more people putting stuff out that's quite thought-provoking, especially in the political climate that we are in the moment. So a lot of the work that I've done in the past has been very political, and with what we got going down at the moment with 3 fellas in the
3 blind mice
in the house at the moment. It's just like it's just ongoing downpouring out of me. How do we approach this in creative ways and challenging our people to do it themselves.
So you got the longest something in town?
Yes, that's the giraffe, the longest drink in town.
Yeah. But what was that? What were you trying to say in that?
Well, there was a comment many years ago, and it's constantly around Māori being shoved down people's throats. So when it came to this campaign we were doing with Aotearoa, whether we should look to go back to a name which really, in my whakaaro and the whakaaro of a lot of people, is the ingoa of this country, is Aotearoa. And having that discussion kind of usually ramps up the rednecks around the country. So, you get all that, this is New Zealand, it's not Aotearoa. I'm probably one of not many people that has actually been to Zealand.
You're returning home.
Yeah, well,
which is not our home.
Yeah. So I've been there, and a lot of them have no idea about that there's a New Zealand somewhere.
New Zealand.
Yeah, it was quite interesting doing that travel. So when we were doing that, we did this piece, and it had the long neck of the giraffe, and it had the word Aotearoa as its spots on the thing, giving reference to we're not in New Zealand, we're in Aotearoa. Stop ramming that down our throats and all of that. So it was a part of a big travel around the country, kind of to start that conversation again. It's happened many times. It was Te Whai Harawira that had the first kōrero around it. Actually went to Zealand around giving back the ingoa.
Yeah.
And then many times, again, it's kind of come around full circle into another person.
So how do you approach it then? What whakaaro have you got about that? Like, what's your plan?
Well, I think with comedy is a really interesting way to come at it, and it's been done for years. We were talking about it the other day around kings and that had jesters.
So you're the jester.
Well, kind of, yeah. That's got a little Māori kind of.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a big thing on like embracing the pōrangi, eh?
Yeah.
So it's a really smart and witty way, especially like with te reo kape and that whole wit and humour, to not attack, but to kind of prod and ask questions, but do it in a way where people can kind of like, oh yeah, I get what's going on there. So we've done a few we did 9 comedy shows last year, and we're about to do 2 next month, in October, just before in November where this dreaded treaty bill comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's some of the big pushes.
Yeah, but Christopher Luxon's not going to support it, Hori.
I know, but we don't know that, do we?
Apparently. Do people view you as an activist?
Some do, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I think all Māori need to be a little bit more political.
Yeah.
I think we are. If you look what happened with Kingitanga and especially up at Tūranga Waiwai Marae, where they started this to get this whole, kotahitanga and kingitanga kind of go together. But like really within the last year, I think there's a real pull to unite not just Māori but tangata tiriti, tauiwi from all around Aotearoa, who are all seeing it. It's blatant as fuck. And some of the stuff that this government's doing is just blatantly trying to reverse everything that is, undo everything.
Isn't that wild? It's pretty much the first 24 hours they started the reversals.
Yes.
Isn't that funny? And you just go, I sit there in disbelief that we're being colonised again.
Yeah.
Again, and all that trauma that comes from that.
Yeah.
How, because so you do your artwork and then it traumatises people because they can see their upbringing in your artwork. They can see the Pākehā TV that they lived in, the Pākehā rugby teams, the Pākehā hockey teams, the Pākehā school system.
Yeah.
And then you have to go, well, we need to reverse that way of thinking.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing of the whole decolonizing process. It's not just in here. It's actual like within systems, government systems, every kind of system that is around. So it's breaking that all down and having the time to see what that would look like if it's built on the way our tupuna wanted it to be. Wanted it to be. If you look at Te Tiriti and us, it's like, yes, we invited Tauiwi to be here. We would manaki them. But they got the guns. Well, there's that, and it's just like, but there were some very certain lines put out, like, these are our tonga, don't touch, like, these are our things, but come be here, but just leave our shit alone, and we will manaki you and everything like that. We'll take care of you, but just remember that we're the mainstream here. Like we are the people. It's like a big version of a marae, eh? Yeah. They came onto the marae and then they just raped and pillaged. Yeah. Pretty much. So, and I think people get, or when we start having these chats, they get like, oh, they're back on their colonial chat again. You were never off it. Yeah, and it's not that when you look at 180 years, it's not that long. I'm 40. Like next week. Are you only 40? Yeah, I'm 30. I'm 39, sorry. Oh, yeah. But, 180 odd years isn't actually that longer when you really kind of think, and they're like, oh, we've got to keep going on a bit. But 180 years ain't that long, though. Like, that's only a few great-grandfathers and mothers away. My grandfather was beaten at school for speaking his reo. Yeah. And that's my granddad. Yeah. So it's very real and it's very in our face. Yes. And so when they jump on that whole train thing, you're looking at people that are like, well, my granddad got hit for that, or my mum, so it's very real for Māori. So they can't continue to have that chat because it's just like that means absolutely nothing to us. It's so funny because I have trauma.
about not learning my reo and I see a therapist about it. And I was talking, and I hope that she doesn't mind me saying this, to a middle class white woman yesterday. She said, "You're so lucky to be Māori," and I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I said, and then I had to stick to it, and it's a little bit like, oh, here we go. Okay, so my granddad was beaten. Our whole country was like, I was just like, you think I'm lucky to be Māori, and and I said, and you own land up north where I could have owned that land. And she's like, I know. I said, give me your house. She said, oh, I can't. I have to pay. I need the money. And I was like, it's my land. And she got a little bit like, calm down. But I was like, this is the truth. You have an advantage, and you call me lucky to be Māori. I understand where she's coming from, but fight the fight, man.
Yeah.
I'm hoping she will sell me her house for half price. What's the main thing for you? Is it making the money for your family, or is it just a whole integrated thing that your family all do together? Or is it just, I have to do it?
I just have to do it. I think when a kaupapa is bigger than yourself, and this is, the people are going to laugh because this is me taking my ego out, which is, fucking massive.
Huge.
But, me is good at, like, making me toe and making sure that old mate doesn't get too big. Is actually acknowledging that you need that ego too to make shit happen. But it's not just about this, it's about
the putia.
Yeah, it's about your whānau seeing, like, my kids are, working in the cafe. My daughter, Tello's 9 years old, she's selling stuff in the gallery. So they see us working, they see what we're doing. The hapori, our community, is involved with the cafe, so they're in there. We only do koha coffee, so for the last 2 years we've only done koha coffee. So
you basically, if I turn up and I say, can I just give you $2.50, I've got no money for...
Kei a koe te tikanga. So
Kei te pai.
That's a way to show people our tikanga and allow them to make the decisions up for themselves. And we say that it's like, it's on you, on your mana, on what you want to pay. Yeah. So that's what you want to do.
Next minute, business suit guy comes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It actually, from what we've seen, it comes out better.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so it's like, someone's paying $10 for a flat white because they're like, oh, wow. And people might look at it as a novelty thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, we have a chance here because we were like, oh, maybe we'll do koha coffee on a Friday. But I was like, if we're going to do koha, we do it from the start and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be a novelty. Like, if we're trying to teach people tikanga, we have to be, like, abide by the tikanga about. So that's this one way. So our otaki, our hapori's involved, like, ngā hapu o otaki are all involved. So everyone kind of is a part. So you're not just taking little old Hori with,
Yeah.
You're trying to take, otaki and your whole te iwi Māori and everyone to the world.
How I see it is you're living on a pā, and you're living te ao Māori in your village.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Making up a new version of what it's like to be Māori.
Yeah.
Music, art, koha coffee.
I see that. I see our little colonial church that's been torn down.
Yeah.
And just and it's building a little, like, pā or some situation there, but it's like, my mates that are all Raukawa boys, they always remind me, just remember, like, you're when you go out of the Raukawa kind of area, you're representing Otaki when you go out there.
Whoa.
So just, and I take that very, very on, like, so when you come back home, you're seen out in these things and doing all these cool things, but just remember back home, so I'm very wary of that, like making sure that I'm trying to do as much as possible within the community, like with our rangatahi especially. But yeah, it gets a bit crazy in my world, so I'll be off everywhere. And then you'll get the kind of pinch by the bow, like, what have you been up to? And then, because we're in a beautiful little bubble in Otaki.
About Otaki and having to represent Otaki by going all over the world and New Zealand, how do you feel about having to mana up?
Yeah. Oh, just every
it's like
time.
Being a politician.
Every time I go anywhere, it's Otaki straight front and forward. It's not like a weight on my shoulders as opposed to being real self-aware that when I'm going into different kaupapa or I'm coming to here, that I'm not just representing me or my whānau, like you're representing, the people that taught you, and especially within like Raukawa and, the three kind of iwi, the Ngāti Toa, Te Atiawa, Ngāti Raukawa, who have mana whenua in Otaki. It's just remembering when you're going out that you have to remember that there's people at home that you represent, especially in a public,
Do I have to do that? But I come from up north and the true Horis.
But it's not just Otaki, it's Kahanunu ki Wairarapa. So Wairarapa, I've got Kaitahu down Arowhenua that I don't know much about. But it's just remembering, like, when you are doing those things, is that that you need to be,
That's
very
a good
aware
way of
of
saying
it.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and also when you're back home, then make sure that you're doing your mahi too. At home?
I'm an urban Māori. I live in New Lynn, Auckland, and it's like, how do I represent my
Well, you're doing it
Otaki?
now. You're doing it now.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon you are.
Oh, choice.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
I feel stink.
No, yeah, it's just, it's that whole thing of, the ahika and the people that are always at home, those keeping the fires burning. When you're away, that heat's still there, and it'll always draw you back home. No matter how, I always call it ngā karu o Kapiti, which is the eyes of Kapiti. So, ka haere koe ki wiwi ki wawa, like you go there, this, there, everything, that the eyes of Kapiti are always on me. So before I leave home, every time I leave, if I jumped on the plane today, I saw Kapiti, and it was the last thing I saw before I turned my thing. And then I got here, and then when I come home, whenever I go back home, I'll always drive up the long way and go see Kapiti before I get back, and I'll go thing.
I love
so
that.
There's always that whakaaro, it's just that Kapiti's karu are always on you. Yeah, so
What a
no matter who you are,
whakaaro.
I just always think like that. I think I wrote like a little poem about it, about ngā karu o Kapiti.
Yeah.
Just make sure that, you're being watched from home. Yeah.
Tauke.
Just trying to do little bits and pieces. Like I've introduced at home a kōrero Pākehā jar and I put it on the fireplace, and whenever I get snapped out in the kāinga, speaking
English,
Pākehā, the kids will be like, oh, papa, money, like go put putia, and they'll go toru tāra if they've heard like 3 words, and I'm like, oh, and I have to put, it's getting pretty full at the moment. But
What about Mia?
Mia's all good. So we have our whare, Mia will speak Pākehā, Jet speaking Pākehā, but for me, it's more for me to be speaking reo to the kids within our whare.
You're amazing.
So, it's just like, this was for Mahuru Māori. I was like, I have to do something. It's
like
kind
Dry
of
July.
like a swear jar, but in Pākehā. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, if it's a negatron thing or...
It's funny because when I'm out with my kids, I speak te reo Māori to them like real loudly, so everyone knows that I can kōrero Māori, and then when I'm at home, I'm like, shut up! Show off, eh?
Yeah, but it's even up the mountain. Like, we went up the mountain for 3 days, and there was a kura kaupapa there, and they were all speaking reo on the mountain with the kids, and I was like, oh, te reo! Get to kōrero rātou te reo Māori. Yeah. And they're like, oh, kia ora. And it was like...
Your voice just went so high.
I was trying to teach like a little kid, but it was awesome. And even Taika was like, oh, what the hell? Like, so it was cool because they're quite,
I love hearing our language out at about like a supermarket. And if I hear a wahine with her tamariki kōrero in Māori, I'll do the same. I'll be like, kei te put the kai te Torore. Like real broken pigeon Māori.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Well, you just, in Otaki, just like, it's just everywhere. Even the dairy owner, the Indian dairy owner. Kia ora. Kei te pia, square. Right, kei te pai.
Kei te pai.
It's awesome.
Kei te nida pai.
Yeah. Just give us a pie, cuz. Anyone that hasn't been there yet, when you go there, you like, oh, wow. This place is awesome.
It's funny though because I've seen both versions of Otaki.
Yeah.
I've seen because I've ex-whānau there.
Yeah.
And I've seen great riches, great wealth, Pākehā, and then I've seen Māori, the Māori side of it. And you had a fight with a bloody shopkeeper next door to yours because for the most racist reason why you put Rāpahi on the rubbish bin, right?
Yeah.
A sticker with the name of the rubbish bin.
Yes.
And this is what gets me every time. And I think this is probably what pulled you out into mainstream Aotearoa.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw it, and the lady was so offended by you sticking a Māori name for a rubbish bin. What she do? Just keep ripping it off.
Yeah. She just kept taking them off.
So you keep putting them on, she kept ripping them off.
It was also a part of a bigger kaupapa. We were trying to, we were doing it on all the bins, and we were trying to actually, what was happening was the main road was going to cut Otaki off. It was going to go on, and we were on the main drag.
Yeah.
So my whakaaro was like, they're like, oh, all the businesses were like, we need to do something to make sure we can get people off the thing. And I was just like, well, we have an amazing culture here already.
Yeah.
We don't need to come up with a new idea.
Yeah.
The culture's here. You need to get on the waka and actually get involved with our community and how special Otaki is and how well known Otaki is known across the motu for its reo because of Te Wānau Raukawa, because of what happened down there with Whakatupiranga Roamano and that big idea to revitalise our reo. So I'm a product of that, and many people in Otaki are products of that. So it's there, and all I was like, let's work with hapu, with iwi, and just start doing this stuff. So and it's instead of saying that stuff to people, I was like, I'm going to start doing it. So I just started doing it. And then that's when you start to see the people that start to go, oh, I don't want to do that. And people starting wrecking their sticks off. And then next minute, their business is shut down, gone.
Wow.
They kakeets, they're gone.
Yeah, kakeets,
so,
okay.
yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, I looked at the camera real serious. Like
Activism through art and a marae whānau approach. You're so amazing. You're incredible.
Oh, we learn to go that way.
I will join your cult. What's the best thing to you about New Zealand or Aotearoa?
The best thing in Aotearoa?
The best thing about Aotearoa?
Otaki. Nah.
Not biased at all.
For me, obviously when I left and I was travelling around the world and I was playing rugby in different places, they loved Māori culture, and that was the thing that I had put away for so long. And it was actually tauiwi that reminded me of how fucking amazing our culture was. Like there wasn't a rugby game that I went to on the bus where they were like, you don't get off the bus until you do us the haka. And from Ngāti Toa, like our haka is like, it's probably the most famous haka in the world.
Kamate.
Yeah.
From Rua Kinama?
Te Rauparaha.
Oh, Te Rauparaha.
Yeah, so
so that's the best thing for you.
Was when they said that, I was like, I've been the biggest arsehole.
Yeah.
I need to go home. I need to reawaken whatever this thing is, this taniwha within me. And it's been sitting there inside me for so long, and I had to kind of just put all the embarrassment away. And I still get embarrassed with little things. I'm like, oh, but it's about that is the most important thing for me, is for my kids to know that growing up being Māori is not something to be embarrassed about, and do not follow my route because it took so long to get back, but in saying that, without that journey and realise realising what I'd done, I probably wouldn't be sitting in here talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So if I continued down another route, I don't know what would have happened. So it's the whole kind of Hori hikoi has happened because of all of the shit that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that, I don't know if that
Ka
answers.
pai tō mahi.
Yeah.
2 more questions. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
You
yes. Do? Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've had a I haven't really ever talked about this, but it's like, yeah, I've had an interesting time with my love life. It's just kind of, it was a bit tragic, really.
Really?
But yeah,
Why?
yeah. Oh, I had a girl, that I was with for many years, and just this week actually, probably 11 years ago, she passed away. Yeah, she Bex was killed in a car accident. So it kind of gave me a big wake up call when that happened, and it shattered me.
Were you with her were you
Yeah,
together at the time?
we were that couple that when we had one rule is that when we were in the same country, we were together, and when we were off the thing, we just never talked about it.
Yeah.
And I came back home, obviously, started Hori and that, and she was like there within the beginnings. And then it was her time to go off and do her big OE, but then she only got like a few months into it and passed away in Brazil. Yeah.
Aww.
So it was a real like big hit for me. I've never actually talked about this to anyone really, but yeah, I mean Mia knows and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I met her. She was 17 and I was 19, and we were together for a long time. You know, just young fucking idiots, but it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then yeah, when I was in a fucking bad way, it was Mia that said, come to Aussie, like,
Yeah.
you know, you've got. And then I was like, I was real lost. I was, you know, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But and then yeah, Mia came into my life and just changed everything. So again, it was like, you know, this love story again.
Yeah.
And she just
She's
kind of
so amazing too.
She is, and we're like exactly the same, like in terms of our the way we think.
Yeah.
And then it just happened. Kids happened, and then yeah, for the last 10 years we've been doing this together. I don't know where that came from.
Thank you.
Well, she, you know, it's actually this week it'll be 11 years since she passed. So, and she was so young and so beautiful and just, you know, full of. She'd cut anyone down if they wanted to. Like, oh fuck, she was fussy. But yeah, that's just one of the stories that kind of also from that, you know, directly was the beginnings of Hori. Yeah, so she was there right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Going through all the gears and yeah, so
Choice.
it's an out of it. Yeah, that's my kind of little love life thing.
I like love life.
Well,
Well, I guess my last question.
Aren't we? Yeah, there we
Well,
are.
it's personal, bro.
Yeah, I just saw that.
My last question is soulmates. Do you believe in soulmates?
Yeah,
I guess you
there we
would.
go.
I guess you would.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm quite supernatural, so like.
Oh, matikite?
Well, at a point,
Matikite is like a psychic-y, spiritual Māori person. Just so you know.
I feel and I've seen things that I can't explain.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So whether there's a hint of, you know, people will look at me like will always have a shit like, oh, fuck off. But when you've seen and felt things that I've felt, especially, you know, with death and seeing things that, you know, are not supposed to be there, supposedly in this poor rangy spot, and I've seen those things. So I do believe in like souls, and I've seen them. So and I've felt them. So it's in terms of soulmates, most definitely. Like there's always people in your life that either left you in some way, or you've found people. Mm-hmm. Whether that's, you know, for Mia, she definitely just kind of found me at a time where I needed someone, and then I realised that this one was like, fuck, and yeah, and you'll lose those souls as well.
Yeah.
But you don't lose them to, I always have loved that kind of kōrero around te kore and te ao marama. It's like and te whaiau, you always find these things, but they just as easily can be taken away, but doesn't mean that they're actually away. You can just kind of cruise back into that world at some point in your life. So yeah,
Turn it on and off.
I'm not like a religious. I was raised Catholic, but I'm not religious at all. I'm very against religion. But in terms of our atua and our the way te ao Māori see things,
Yeah.
I very much believe in it because I've seen stuff that I can't explain. So yeah.